So today I'm here to talk about Ancient Evil, and I'm mainly here to talk about it in the sense of telling Treyarch how to do their job, I guess. And I know that's annoying, especially if you're a Treyarch developer. It's all like, what's this kid know about like developing, designing games? He's never even tried to do that once in his life, so he can just shut up. And I know that's how it could feel, but honestly, you have to think about how it is from our perspective as a players, because we don't need to know how to design and create a game to understand that something just isn't fun. And that's exactly what your previous maps up until this point have been inside Black Ops 4. All of the maps that you've released inside Black Ops 4 have like a major issue with them. Each and every one of them, there's just like, why is that the case? And it just really like throws off the replayability of everything. And this is the reason why I'm making this video, is just for you guys could avoid making the mistakes you've made inside Black Ops 4 thus far. And I just want to go over these and just tell you guys exactly how to not do these, because I think everybody in the zombies community could like agree that these are some issues that shouldn't have been issues to begin with, especially with an experienced studio like Treyarch. So, you know, we're going to go over them regardless. So anyways, let's start off with what I believe to be the biggest issue with any map inside Black Ops 4, and it is inside Dead of the Night. And of course, I'm not talking about the marketing, because that's not design, but what I'm talking about is a setup for Dead of the Night. And I've gone over this in depth in separate videos, but just to give you the rundown, is that the Dead of the Night setup is super tedious, because you have to like look for 12 different parts, I think it is, and some of them have 3 different spawns, some have 4 different spawns. There are just so many things to look for just to be set up. Just think about everything. You have to find the crystals, and the crystals will tell you the location of rather 3 clocks or a random thing, or like 4 different paintings or a noose, a scroll, and then of course there's the other one. You have to go to 2 different perks, which that one's not too hard, but then on top of that you have to get silver bullets, and you have to find the charcoal, you have to find the just everything for that. Again, I'm not going to go too much yet, but there's way too much to memorize just to get set up on that map, which is really disappointing, because that map is solid in every other way. It has an amazing Easter egg, the map design is amazing, the visuals are amazing, the boss fight's amazing. There's just so much good about it, but none of it can be experienced by so many players because the setup is just not fun, and nobody wants to be bothered with memorizing how to set up every single game, because it's just not fun to do. I mean, there are just too many things to memorize in this, and this is one thing they just need to avoid, is stop making your setups super difficult. In fact, I believe that setup should be as maybe a little bit more complicated than Derize, but you know, it's somewhere around that level, because there's a lot of people who just want to get on a map and just kill some zombies for a while, get some challenges done, do their daily calling, just do all that, but it's just not fun to do that when you have to like spend 30 minutes setting up, and it's just something you don't really like to do. So that's why I think that like we shouldn't have these complicated setups inside this, and I just think that should be avoided from going on forward. And I just don't get why this was such a big problem inside Dead of the Night. I get your experimenting with things, but that was when they should have been obvious to Treyarch that it was a mistake. So another thing I want to talk about is the zombie types, because it doesn't look like we're getting that many new zombie types, maybe 2 new boss zombies, and then skeleton zombies with armor and stuff like that, with swords and spears, and those are going to be interesting, but let's just say this: quit making them annoying. Stop it, please. I mean, there are so many. I don't know if you guys play the maps you create, but if you guys have played 9 Treyarch and you've actually gotten to the higher 20s and then everything past that, it's just not fun when you have 3 gladiators, 4 brawlers, a Blightfather occasionally, and a bunch of catalyst zombies spawning in on you. You have to deal with each and every one of them, and you still have to worry about the normal zombies and train them around, but you can't train them around normally because you have to deal with tigers too, which are super annoying. And all this you have to be constantly thinking about. It just throws off the game, and this is a huge problem with this map. What is in front of my eye? But regardless, it's just like, these are some issues that just shouldn't be a thing, because it should be obvious that people, when we experience exo zombies, that we don't like being bombarded with 30 different zombie types at once. But you make the same mistakes Sledgehammer Games made in their first attempt at zombies, and this is like your, what is this, your 5th or 6th? It's just been so many attempts at zombies that you made a mistake that somebody made in their first attempt at zombies, then corrected later on down the road, but then you made their mistake, which makes no sense, because there was just so much things like that. And Dead of the Night is very similar in that way, because also Dead of the Night has a stupid vampires constantly breaking your shield, which just isn't fun. But regardless, just calm down these special zombies. I really hope the skeleton zombies with shields and spears and swords aren't annoying. I'm really crossing my fingers for that one, but we'll have to see. I mean, I really hope that you just don't mess up the special zombie types. I just really hope that's not the case. But another one, this is actually relating to Blood of the Dead. Don't make your map design stupid. I mean, Blood of the Dead is based off Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead, for the most part, that map is designed really, really well. The flow of the map is really good, but Blood of the Dead gets what is already a problem with Mob of the Dead and makes it even more difficult. Because if you think about Mob of the Dead, how long does it take from you to get to spawn all the way to the docks? It takes you a good minute. It takes a ton of doors to open. It just takes a while to get down there, and it's really not exactly the best flow from going to spawn to the docks. But you know, inside Blood of the Dead, not only did it get that problem, bring it over, but it also made it worse, because not only do you have to end at spawn, but also you have the recreational yard, and then the catwalk, and then you have this area with the powerhouse and the new industries, and then spawn. So you have all of that and added onto it. So just think about how long it takes from running from spawn all the way docks. We don't need design like that. That's just way too much walking, and it's just like an utter waste of time. It is just not fun walking from one side of Blood of the Dead to the other. So just don't do that inside Ancient Evil. Don't make your map stupid. It's just like, it's not fun. I mean, it was already not fun inside Mob of the Dead, but it was still like you could deal with it. But Blood of the Dead just made it like not fun to go from one side of the map to the other, especially if you activate anywhere but here, and spawns you somewhere you just don't want to be, then ooh, that's not fun. Ooh, you would not believe it. It is just not fun, especially with the catwalk. You have to run through the catwalk and then get yourself killed in the middle of the round. It's just not fun stuff. Should not be a thing. And also the fast travels, do not make up for it. Do not mention them, because they are poorly placed also. So I don't know. I just think that this is something that shouldn't have ever been a mistake inside of it, because you should know that nobody likes running for ages inside a map. So shouldn't have been a thing that you should have ever made a mistake on. But regardless, so that's another thing you should worry about, or make sure you don't make a mistake with Ancient Evil. But then the final thing is Easter eggs. Now, I can't really pull anything from, I guess, Voyage of Despair, because I think Voyage of Despair is purposely done as a difficult map. So I can't really poke it. That's why I personally think it's the best design map inside Black Ops 4 thus far. But regardless, I don't think making a map difficult is in your best interest right now, because you're trying to attract a wider audience. So what I think you should do is focus on just making your Easter egg not only an easier one, unlike Voyage, but also make it a good Easter egg and a fun, and an Easter egg that doesn't take too long. Like, kind of get what you did in Dead of the Night. Get kind of that, and not obviously copy paste. I don't want any of that. I want some unique new stuff, but in that sort of time it takes and that sort of difficulty, maybe a little bit more in both of those, or maybe a little bit less. But regardless, that's where the Easter egg should be around, because the Easter eggs just take way too long. Voyage takes 2 hours. Blood takes about 2 hours. 9 takes almost 2 hours too. Like, they're really, really long. They're very time consuming. So you should work on making them not as long. And on top of that, just make them fun, because you look at all your Easter eggs that you made so far, and the only fun one is Dead of the Night, but of course that's ruined by its awful setup for it. But regardless, 9 isn't fun, because not only do you have to deal with all the different zombie types, but on top of that, the steps are just weird, to say the very least. They force you to do them in a way that is the most difficult way to do them. I mean, you should, until this day, I will say that 9, the Easter egg should let you appease the gods in any which order you want. You shouldn't have to do Danu first. Just think I gotta mention again. And then Blood, we all know why Blood is a pain. I mean, wow, okay. I don't think I need to go over why Blood's a pain for everybody here, but regardless, just make sure your Easter egg isn't bad. And that's all I ask. These things, just avoid those, and don't come up with some new mistake. I don't want you to make some new mistake that you know isn't a good idea, because that's what it seems like you're doing. You're finding a new way to make a mistake inside every single map. But I'm hoping you guys just avoid all doing these, and all doing these mistakes that you've done prior to this inside Black Ops 4, and also just don't make any new mistakes. And the thing is, I know Treyarch can make a map without these mistakes and without making these new mistakes that they potentially can make. Like, we've seen what they've made ever since Black Ops 3 and before that. All of those are really solid maps for the most part. Let's say that, actually. But regardless, it's just like, we know you can do it, so stop making these mistakes. Like, I know you're trying to innovate, you're trying to do something special, but really, these are just not the areas you need to do it in. We don't want longer Easter eggs. We don't want 2 to 3 hour Easter eggs. We don't want super tedious setups. We don't want any of that. We want innovation in a way that just doesn't artificially inflate the difficulty, or I guess the time it takes to do things, and just we just don't need that. Just because you want to make your Easter egg hunt last a little bit longer, you made it a little bit more difficult, or I guess needlessly, more complicated. Just don't do any of that, and we should be fine. I mean, we should have a solid map with Ancient Evil, and that's what I'm really, really hoping for. I'm really hopeful that you've seen the mistakes you've made so far, Treyarch, and you can just correct all of them inside Ancient Evil. But anyways, that's all I have to say, and hopefully this video didn't get too ranty, but I just wanted to share my thoughts with what Treyarch should be focusing on inside Ancient Evil. But anyways, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video and you're actually excited for Ancient Evil, then go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell, because, you know, I'm going to be streaming, uploading everything Ancient Evil, and hopefully it's going to be great. Hopefully I'll make a review for that. That's going to be in the positive light, but that's yet to be seen. So I'm excited for Tuesday. I'm hoping Treyarch learned from their mistakes inside Black Ops 4 thus far, but that's yet to be determined. Or is that the same? Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'll catch you guys next. Oh yeah, I already said that. But laters, guys. Let's just end it there.